What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon, and I am still waiting for my Seder, and today we are talking about the Lone City Trilogy by Amy Ewing. So I discovered this series way back when I think I was a freshman in college, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of into the whole, like gilded cage thing where like you dress them up and you put them on display, but there's all these like little undertones of like feminism and like breaking out of it and all that kind of fun stuff. And to be honest, the first book, The Jewel, seemed right up that alley. It seemed pretty cool, but it is a little weird. The premise of The Lone City is that it's about a girl named Violet Lasting who is chosen to become a surrogate for one of the royal families. She's basically taken from her own family, trained to use her little gifts that they call auguries, which basically means that she can change the color of things, she can grow things, and change the shape of things, and then they sell her to a royal family, and that's basically where we go from there. The premise of the first book is just her being bought into like a very prestigious family, and she kind of has a forbidden romance, even though obviously it's not allowed with her being a surrogate for the royal house and all. It is a very, very weird premise. However, The Jewel does a very good job with it. It does get a little confusing, nothing's ever really explained, but the whole premise of just her being on display, being used for something, they don't even say her name, and then her kind of finding love with somebody who's in the same kind of situation was very cool. And it leaves off on a huge cliffhanger, which roped me into reading The White Rose, the second book, and that's kind of when the cracks started to appear. Yes, in The White Rose, we start getting a little bit of an explanation for why Violet and girls like her can do these things, and the explanation we get is still very outlandish and hard to grasp, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm following your logic here. We start hearing the rumblings of a revolution, and the entire time I'm like, okay, I understand that, like the royal houses are like stealing girls and like using them to like bear their children or whatever. I told you, it's a weird premise, but are they really bad people? I know that, some of them are super bad people, but as a whole, I don't know if this whole revolution was working out too great. In The Black Key, however, which, don't get me wrong, The Black Key was the worst in the bunch, we do get a better look at some other groups that are also being oppressed, which makes this revolution more warranted, but it's still just not thought through. And by the time I got to The Black Key, I was just so 100% done with this series. I couldn't remember what I even liked about it from the start. All of the characters are just so robotic, they don't really grow any. There is one character, Violet's best friend, who gets some novellas of her own, like telling her own story, who is really cool. I feel like if it was about her, it might have made more sense because she goes through a lot more than Violet does, and I think it would have built better. We don't really get a lot about her story in the main series, and after finishing the series, I am not motivated at all to even try and read her stories. So it's not really looking too good for the Lone City for me. Because of all that, overall, I am just gonna have to give it a D+. I hadn't ever talked about the other books individually before because they really aren't anything special. There's nothing new here other than this kind of wild premise, but to be honest, that's done before too, like in the Chemical Garden trilogy or in Perfected, and out of those, the Chemical Garden trilogy probably takes the cake. It's just everything we've seen before with this revolution, with this one group of people being oppressed, and it just doesn't really work. It's not anything new, and the writing just really falls flat. And by the time I got to The Black Key, I could see the gimmicks. I could see through it. I'm like, okay, I see what you got me with this time. I see you had some little flashing lights going on, but no, I see behind it now, and there really isn't anything there. It is really disappointing because I loved it in the beginning, but as it went on, took a turn for the worst. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below. I talk books every Monday. That is everything I got for you today, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.